things change, if something happens that changes the financial statements. Okay. Pull up I don't have that. Let's see here. So you should have something that looks like this. And you'll notice that this is our balance sheet. Okay. And so that these two sides have to equal, so the total assets have to equal the total liabilities. Oops.
Is it just a coincidence that whenever we have like our assets or our payables, like when we're doing our balance sheets, that they're all like grouped together, or is that done intentionally?
If the assets are grouped together, the liabilities and the equity are separate?
Yeah, like when we're looking at when we have to write a financial or a balance sheet or whatever, like they're normally grouped together, like your payables, your assets, your different things like that.
Yeah, they're put in the categories, and here's sort of why they do that. It's so people know where so people know where to look for stuff. For instance, I walk into a store and I want Cheerios. Where do I go?
Grocery store?
Well, I'm in a store. Let's say I'm in the store. So I walk into the store and I want to get Cheerios. Where do I go?
The cereal aisle.
Cereal aisle. Now, I didn't tell you what store it was. I didn't tell you what, everyone knows that that's where they're all going to be together. They're going to be together in a cereal aisle. It's the same thing in accounting. We put everything we try to put things that are similar together, so people know where to look for them. So that's why we kind of get into categorizing it. So people looking for information, they know where to go for it. It's just like a grocery store. Yeah, no more complex than that.
I feel you. I appreciate it.
Okay, so yeah, so this is a balance sheet, and so what we're going to do is look at these transactions. So here's the first transaction.
What's the objective with these? So what are we essentially looking to accomplish or complete?
For this, what we're going to do is say, okay, we have this transaction, and we want to see, okay, how does this impact the balance sheet? So
okay.
Yeah, so we use cash to purchase land. I wish this is bigger. I should probably redo this one. Okay. So we used cash to purchase land for $300. Right now, we know that this is going to change something in the balance sheet. Let's think about the cash for a minute. Do we still have $1,000 in cash?
No, you got 700.
Okay, so for this transaction, we're going to say cash goes down by 300, right? Can I make these bigger, bold or something? Oh, they already are bold. They don't look like bold. If I'm seeing me learn how to use a computer. All right, so our cash went down by 300. Now notice this isn't going to balance if we don't have another account, right? So what other account are we going to use? So we got the cash.
It's land.
Yep.
Wait, what did he say?
There's going to be another account here. We used cash to purchase land. So our cash went down. what happened to our land? Did it go up or down?
It went up because you purchased it.
Yep. Sorry. Whoops, 300. Okay, so the question is, how is this going to change our balance sheet? So this transaction means our cash is now mentioned 700. Now, most of these accounts, most of these accounts didn't change. It didn't have anything to do with supplies or equipment or any of this other stuff. So these are the same. Oops.
So do we do our ending balance? We would do our ending balance now because the only thing that we used was that $300 for the land.
Yep.
And everything else will just carry over.
Yeah, so the cash in the land will be changed. Everything else is just exactly the same. So land is now, we had 1,500, now we have what, 1,800? Okay, now you'll notice that we minus 300 and added 300. So if I go to this here, it should come out, all this happened on the asset side, so it should come out to be exactly the same, but let's just check and make sure it does. Oops. That was 200. And these over here, I mean, truthfully, you could probably just copy these over.
So because we bought more land, does that mean that our value of the land went up? Like I see that it changed from, it went to 1,800. So that's our value of the land, or is that how much or our land is worth? Or I guess that's-
It's actually what you paid for it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I know you're asking that, you know, land as time goes on appreciates in value. One of the things about accounting is for most of these assets, we keep them on the books for what we paid for them. And, oh, that's not me. What am I doing here? So they're on the books for what we paid for them. And that can be a problem. Because, you know, if you may have bought a building, you know, or the company may have bought a building 40 years ago. And maybe they paid 200,000 for it, and today it's worth 12 million. I mean, you know, some places are like that. So sometimes what's on the books is not necessarily accurate as far as what they're worth, and that's kind of a quirk about accounting. But it's what you paid for them is what we put them on the books at. Good question. Okay, I can share my screen. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay. So we took this transaction that happened and we just said, okay, how did this change our stuff? And again, you'll notice that we have to have at least 2 accounts, because if you don't have 2 accounts, you can't just change one account and it's still balanced. If you change one account, it won't balance. Okay, very similar one. Oops. Bold that. That's why I didn't bold it. Okay. So we paid cash.
Professor, can you scroll up one more time real quick? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, so these are the transactions here that are.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so. So we paid cash for equipment, $400. So this is very similar to the other one. So what are we going to do with that?
I'm gonna subtract $400 from that 1,300 in cash.
Yep, so this is going to go down. 100. And what was the other one?
Plus 400, right?
Yeah, so minus 400 for cash.
And plus 400 for equipment.
Yep. So our cash is going down, but now we have more equipment. Keep my color coordinating scheme going here. All right. So cash, we don't have 1,300. And by the way, you notice that you really want to keep track of this because you want to know how much cash you have that's going into the future. $46.90. And this should go out to be exactly the same. Oh, that's a little too much. Okay, so and again, nothing happened over here.
So the only time that we would do anything on that other side is if we got another accounts payable or some more common stocks or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay. So we don't even have to even worry about that side because what we're doing is on the different side of it.
Yep. And one of the things too that as you go through here, you notice this is the way we're doing it now is a little bit inefficient, in that we have all these accounts that we don't do anything with. Right? If you look at this last one we just did, the only two accounts that we actually did anything with are cash and equipment. Really didn't do anything to anything else, any of these other accounts. So if you're just trying to keep track of this, keep track of what happened, a lot of this stuff you don't need. You only need the two accounts that you were using. And that's what we're going to talk about next class. It's how do we just, take the accounts that we need and not the accounts we don't need. Okay. Number three, here's a good one. Purchase supplies on account. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit trickier. What accounts are we going to use?
We're gonna use the supplies account.
Yep.
And then see, I don't know what the supplies are being used towards. I don't know if
Accounts payable.
it's equipment or.
Good. Yeah, you're both right. So supplies is the account we're going to use, definitely. And the accounts payable. We owe money now. We didn't pay it yet. There's no cash yet.
How do we know that it was the accounts payable that was being affected?
Why was it accounts receivable? It's because we owe them money. So if you owe somebody else, so we bought supplies on account, we owe them money. We haven't paid for it yet. So if we owe somebody else, it's an accounts payable. If they owe us, it's accounts receivable. And this is one of the things you get kind of used to as you go through here. So if if they owe us, it's accounts receivable. If we owe them, accounts payable.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah,
So that's like what? That's like credit?
yep.
Okay. So it doesn't count. Does it count as a liability, or like would it still count as a liability like after we finish the problem? Like the $200? That'd be added to liabilities, right?
Yes. Yeah, so add the liabilities, and the only way that liability will go away is when you pay it in the future. So in the future, when you pay it off, there's gonna be another transaction. Then the liability will go away and your cash will go down. But let's just put this one in for now. Take a look at it. Okay, so this is 200 and accounts payable goes up by. Okay, so again, most of these accounts don't change. In this case, you haven't paid any cash yet. Supplies are at what? 890? 890? Okay, add these up. Now, it should be, as you can imagine, it should be $200 higher, right? We have $200 more of supplies, nothing else in here. So let's check and make sure that does happen. Do I have the right camera on? Not. Okay. $13,000. Yep, and so 13,080. Over here, we now owe more. So 1380, we owe 1580. Before 50. These are all the same. Oops. All right, and that should come out to the same $13,080 we had before for the asset side. $13,080. Yeah, and again, as you go through, it's kind of this kind of just shows in the totals how they change. But you'll notice if you really just wanted to record this account, you really only needed supplies and the accounts payable, right? I mean, the other stuff didn't change by this transaction. Okay. Oh. Okay, number 4. Lots of stuff. Purchase building and land using a $3,000 mortgage. Building is 2,000, land is 1,000. Okay. So what accounts are we gonna use?
Mortgage payable, land and buildings.
Yep. Oh, don't wanna do that one. Okay, so let's take the buildings and the land. Let's say buildings first. Are buildings going up or down?
Up.
Oh,
Good, we have more buildings now. Oops, I'll put a plus sign in front of that. And land is also going. Up. And this is actually the one that is counting. Hey, what happened to my transaction? Mortgage payable. Are our liabilities, are they going up or down?
Up.
Good. We owe more now. And we gotta say, it's not, a lot of times it's tempting to put that as a negative, but it actually isn't. We owe more money now. We owe $3,000 more money. Okay, so. I didn't do the assets yet. No, I'm gonna be lazy. So what is that? 8,400. I'm gonna put these all in and see. Do it all at once. Okay. Now if the transactions in total here we have plus 3,000, so if this plus 3,000, you should get whatever that is. I'll do it by hand just to make sure. $20,920. Yep. Adding 3,000 to it. Over here should be the same thing. Yep, 20,920. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more complex. Got a few things going here. spacing somehow. Okay, borrowed cash from a bank using a mortgage payable. Which account?
Mortgage payable, and yeah, just it.
Cash.
Is it gonna be cash? I thought it was.
You're both right. It's mortgage payable and cash.
Oh, because we borrowed cash. Okay.
Yeah, so we got more cash now. Now we're gonna have to pay it back at some point, but right now we have more cash. And then we also have this mortgage payable. Okay, for 5,000. Okay, so. Oops, put a plus sign in front of that. Okay, so 7,100. The rest of these are all the same. And coming down here, I'm just gonna say, okay, this, if we added 5,000 to it. Right, so everything here's that, so this would just be 5,000 more. Whoa, what am I putting in here? Oh, hold on, don't do that. And so coming over here, same thing. And now we owe what, 11,300? All the rest of these are the same. Okay, so okay, there's also 5,000 added onto this side. So it'll be 28. 520. So we got more cash. We owe more money now, but we got more cash in, and yeah, that's it. Question on that one? And again, we always have to have two accounts. There always has to be two accounts, because if we only had put 5,000 on one side or either side, it wouldn't balance. So there's always going to be at least two accounts, and you'll see that looking up here. There, well, it could be more than two, right? But there has to be at least two accounts. Okay. Oh, 6 is tricky.
Cash and common stock go up.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to talk about this for a second. What you said is absolutely correct. Cash goes up and common stock goes up. Okay, this is a company ownership that they're selling to an investor, so that the investor becomes an owner, right? Whoever's buying it. It could be someone buying more stock, they already have stock, or it could be a new investor. But anyway, so the company, it'll be like this stock certificate, so it'll show ownership. And the investor gives the company money. And the company gives them the stock certificate saying, okay, now you're an owner because you gave us this money. So the cash goes up. We have this money from the investor. But also the ownership goes up. Now there's more people that own the stock, right? So you know, however much we had before of the stock, it's gonna go up because we just sold some, so there's more owners out there.
But I mean, the common stock amount is gonna go up as well.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, so common stock. You don't need. So I'm gonna put the cash in first, just 'cause it's closer. So we got 2,000 of cash. But coming down here to the common stock, we now have more owners. Our owners went up by $2,000. So we got more cash, but now more people own our stock. Should be 19. No. Must be 37.
Now is that 2,000? Now is that plus 2,000? Is that 2,000 people who now own the stock?
It's actually just dollars. And
Okay.
yeah, and for our situation here, we don't have to worry about how many shares and what they paid for it and all that. But just know that whatever cash we got in, that's gonna be the same. These two are gonna equal. Yeah, so this is cash. Okay.
So is it only like that we would subtract it if it were on the asset side, like anything that, like at the moment that would be, having to be paid, like the common stock or accounts payable, that would always be like a plus because we owe it or it's being owed or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now we can, and I think I have it here somewhere, paying off. I don't know, but somewhere here when we pay it off, and it is possible to have negative, that these go up and down. For instance, if we were to pay off some of these accounts payable,
Mhm.
accounts payable would go down. We don't owe them anymore, but our cash would go down also. So it is possible to have pluses or minuses.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So let's do a plus 2,000. $21. $3,190. We just added 2,000. Should be 21. Yeah, so we get more owners now. Okay. Now, these are the ones that get a little bit tricky. Received cash from a customer previously billed. So somebody owed us money, but they paid us now.
Accounts receivable.
Good. And what else?
Cash? Well, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take the easy one. Is cash going up or down? So they send us money, a check or whatever it was, for $500. Cash is gonna go up. What's gonna happen in accounts receivable?
It goes down.
Yeah,
Right, they no longer owe us. You know, they owed us 960, they just paid 500, so we have to reduce what they don't owe us this anymore. Now, don't get us wrong, we're happy, we're gonna have the cash, but they no longer owe us this. Oops, what am I doing? 500 of this.
they still owe some money though.
Yeah, they still owe us some here, 1,700. So now they don't owe us 960, they owe us, what is it, 460?
Yes.
And the rest is gonna be the same. Now, you'll notice if you have plus 500, minus 500, the change here is 0. And nothing changed over here. Excuse me. I don't need to put this in another. But yeah, so this all happened on the asset side. So the assets didn't change. It's just one asset went up, one asset went down. Uh, 8 is just another way of saying the same thing we just did. So what accounts?
Cash goes up and accounts receivable goes down.
Yeah, I put this in because the book showed it a couple different ways. So cash goes up and accounts receivable down. They don't owe us anymore. Whoa. Wrong way. Okay. So we have cash 1,100. Our accounts receivable now is 700. Everything else here stays the same. Here stays the same. Do that. Yeah, it's just kind of another way of saying the same thing. Customer paying us money. Excuse me. Okay. Number 9, paid off a few accounts payable for $400.
So would that be minus 400 on accounts? payable?
Professor, can you go up for 1 second, please?
Sure.
All right, thank you. I got everything.
So yeah, so what's going to go down? Well, what accounts? Let me back up. What accounts are we going to use?
Is it cash and accounts payable?
Yes. Oops.
Minus 400 for both of those.
Correct. Yeah. So our cash is going down by 400. We're paying these off. Now over here, we don't owe 2,600 anymore. We owe 400 less. We just paid some of these. So our liabilities are going down. And by the way, paying them is the only way for the liabilities to go down. So a minus here is good, right? It means we owe less. All right, so this would be 1,800. The rest need to be the same. Oh, wait, no, that's not. So this would be minus 400. $240. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and coming over here, this is $22.40. Yep. That's that one. So both sides are going to go down. This is the last one. Yay, the last one. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
The one above.
Yeah.
On the right side of the balance sheet. I haven't been taking notes. I'm just asking when you get the total, are you including the negative 400 to the ending balance? Like when you add up all the ending balances, is 400 involved at all with the math?
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you mean adding these up to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll notice that this account has $400 less, and I've been kind of taking a shortcut down here, saying, okay, we just took 400 out, so it'll be done. But yeah, these should add up to the same thing, you know.
Okay.
Screen away.
And is it like I know when we add 400 or like, is there like keywords that will help us figure out like when we have to add or subtract?
Yeah, it depends on the account. You know, it depends on what the transaction is. And what part of the thing too is just getting used to doing these.
So repetition.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And two, if this is confusing, it should be. This is the first time you guys have seen it. You know, you may have had it in high school. Most high schools don't have it. Yeah, so those add up to that. So, yeah, these will take into account that minus the $400 less. So this would be, those together should equal that. You know?
Sure.
Yes, I mean, again, this is, you know, it's a kind of a different thing, you know, than you're used to seeing. So if it seems confusing, it should be. It is. You know, it's the first time you're seeing it, and
right.
And two, let's see here. Accounting's been around for about 400 years, and next class that'll really be more obvious. But there are ways that they've set up to doing things that go back. Excuse me, go back 400 years. So, you know, you're kind of learning what people have come up with over, you know, basically 400 years ago, and you're kind of putting it in. And the reason we still use it is because it works. You know, if it didn't work, we'd do something else. But so, you know, the way that we're doing it is kind of like a set of rules that was pretty much the same 400 years ago as it is today. And so we're kind of learning how to get these transactions and all that stuff put into the financial statements. But based on, you know, this kind of model that they made 400 years ago. Okay. Okay, made a payment towards mortgage payable, ignore the interest expense. Okay, so.
Would it be mortgage payable in cash and like subtraction on each side?
Yep. So our cash is gonna go down, but I thought we just made a payment. 400. And our mortgage is also going to go down. Fix these. Okay, our mortgage is going to go down by 1,000 too. Or also, I should say. Oops. Okay, so everything else is the same here. That first one is $1,000 less, so this should come out to 14,680. We're taking into account, you know, this 1,000 down here, that way down here is the same as that is, you know, total them up. And over here. And this will be the same thing, minus. And again, this is the same same one as up there, so this would be 14,680 also. And so both sides also have to balance. There has to be at least 2 accounts. There can be more, but at least 2. And you know, that's all this balance sheet balances, and it'll change, you know, the amount. To be a transaction, it has to change something. Question on that? So these are the transactions, and just to give you a little glimpse into what we're doing next class, we're going to say, okay, instead of doing all of this for every transaction, now, if you only have a couple transactions a day,
Yeah, that's a lot. This
right? But really, all you really need, you know, you need the cash, right? If you want to record this, what would you need to write down? Say, okay, cash minus 1,000. Try that again. And mortgage payable. Minus 1,000. You know, this is really all you need, right? This tells you, if as far as this transaction is concerned, this tells you everything you need to know for that transaction. Cash went down, mortgage payable went down. You don't need any of this other stuff, you know, it's in here. Just those 2 things. And that's what we're going to talk about next class is, okay, how do we just record this transaction without going through all of this stuff? You know, not that this stuff isn't there, it is there, but the thing is, for this transaction, we don't need most of these accounts. Question on that thing? Okay, well, for once, we'll end class early. Yay! That make up for the 3 times I've been over. So anyway, so that is that's it for that chapter 2 handout part 1. Any questions on anything? I'll put it back up here in a second. Any questions on any of it?
I'm not turning that in or anything, right?
Oh, we know you are turning it in. Actually, I'll show that right now.
I actually have a question, but it's like about
something personal. So can I talk to you about that after class?
Absolutely. But let me go ahead and, so this will be assignment. This will be Accounting Chapter 2 handout. Now this is part 1. We'll make this due, let's be doing the 17th also.
Hey, Professor, I have a question.
Huh?
So what's your preferred method of us turning it in? Because I'm actually one of the students who accidentally emailed it to you, emailed one of my assignments to you instead. So would you rather us take pictures of it and then send it, or would you rather us edit the Word document and send it?
Either one is fine with me.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're, so you can put in pictures, and then that's fine. And I have no problem, you know, if you take 10 pictures, that's absolutely fine. Or if you just fill in the document, that's fine too. You don't have to do both. I don't want you guys redoing stuff just to send it in. So if you wrote it down on notebook paper, take a picture of the notebook paper. You don't have to rewrite the questions either. Just, you know, write down, you know, write whatever the answer is on the notebook paper and take a picture of it. You do not need to rewrite the questions. I know what the questions were and all that kind of stuff. So
Thank you.
yeah. And again, put in, I'm not gonna pull up the grade book here because it's it's illegal. So but you know, basically, and then you find this in your other classes too, that it's good to have everything in Blackboard just because everybody can look at it, everyone can see when, you know, it's turned in. It just makes things a whole lot easier and fair, basically, you know, to the students that and say, look, I did turn this in, well, you know, here it is, and that sort of thing. And now these due dates, so when you click on these, it'll tell you due date. So this one, the due date is
I'm sorry, Professor, what was illegal?
to show a grade book.
Oh,
I can't show other people's grade. I can show you your grade, but I can't show other people's grades to you.
okay.
Yeah, it's a privacy thing. And yeah, so so anyway, the when you submit things here, you know, show the due date, show it. So if you're ever wondering, you know, what's due, if you click on these, it'll tell you what needs to be done. And it basically comes out of the handouts in that too. Oh, when should the grades be posted? The grades, usually I do grading on Fridays. Just because it usually that's when things are due, and so Fridays I'll usually start putting in the grades in. Most people usually have the stuff in by that time. It just makes it easier to do it all at once. And two, to do the grading, I try to be fair, so that if I take off 3 points for whatever, you know, someone did this error 3 points, that if someone else does it, that they, you know, the 3 points get taken off or whatever. And I actually have notes. I put in grading notes that I keep along with it when I do the grading, so that, you know, if you turn your test back and you get a 90, you turn in, you get a 96, there'll be notes saying what went wrong, and if there's extra credit points added in, all that'll be in there. But to be consistent, I they generally do those at the same time. So if I take off 3, I take off 3 for everyone who does that. Well, I don't take off 2 or 4 or whatever. It's just to make it more consistent, more to make the grading more fair. That's basically what I do. So, yeah, and usually on Fridays, when I kind of set some time aside to go through them and put them in. But I do it sometimes during the week. I'll do it, but for the most part, Fridays are what I do it on.
Professor?
Yeah.
Is the link to the YouTube videos on Blackboard?
Yes. Yes. So if you go into Blackboard, you'll see Zoom meetings. That's the one, that's the active meeting. That's what we're in right now. And then they have recorded Zoom meetings right underneath it. So these are all the recorded Zoom meetings.
Okay, perfect.
Now, but here's the thing, if you go into Zoom meetings, you can't remember it. If you go down here, it'll say recorded Zoom meetings. If you click on that, it goes right to that one too. So either way, if you click on Zoom or recorded Zoom meetings, you can get to these.
Okay, thank you.
And this one will, it takes about an hour. Yeah, I talked to Al. But anyway, so by tonight, this video will be posted too.
Thank you.
Can you put up number 8? I accidentally deleted everything on accident.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, I can put up number 8. Let me share screen.
If we have everything, are we good to go or?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's it. That's it for today. So you're free to go.
Okay.
I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Take care. I had a question about the exam. So I did it, but I accidentally sent the wrong one, and then I emailed you. I was just wondering if you got the email.
I did get the email. Just send the right one. And yeah, so it'll be the second submit. You can submit as many times as you want. So just put it in there. I'll look at the last one.
Okay, I emailed you the right one. I just wanted to see it, make sure you got it.
I did get the email for the right one, but you want to get the correct one in there too, because that's going to be the one that's going to have the grade on it.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Number 7. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is my first time that I'm on here for the Zoom. Is it too late to turn in the first 2 assignments I think you pulled up for chapter 1?
Not at all. They should be in your email. They're also in Blackboard, and the videos are recorded, so you can kind of go through those and fill them in, and I strongly encourage you to put them in. And they're not due until,
Oh, okay.
nothing is due until next Friday. Let me-
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and this video we posted by, probably by midnight.
Okay.
Just, it really depends on YouTube. The minute it renders, I go through and edit it and then submit it, but YouTube goes through all their checks,
Okay.
grades and stuff, so yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Professor, could you like slowly scroll through like questions 1 through 6, please?
Yes. It's 10 smaller, so it's on the screens. And I tell you, when you want me to go to the next one, just let me know.
Okay, you can go ahead, please. Okay. Okay. Oh, under like the last transaction line for total assets, would it be plus 3,000?
Yeah, so this would be plus 3,000. Here, this would be plus 3,000. Yeah, so the total here, the total transactions would be.
Okay. Okay.
Professor,
Yeah,
I have a question about the sixth one.
okay.
So, for example, if like one person bought like all those like $2,000 worth of common stock,
Yeah,
and in the next year they went up, for example, like 200,
okay.
and he decides to cash them in, would it make like a disbalance in the balance sheet? Because he'll be taking like 2,200 from the cash from the company.
Well, he's probably not going to be selling it to the company. You know, it is possible that the company buys back the stock, but if he sold this to somebody else, that would the company wouldn't do anything with the company. Once the stock is sold by the company, whatever they gave him for the stock, that's it. And the company does not have to buy it back from you know. So if you buy the stock, let's say, you know, if it's a corporation, let's say you buy IBM stock from IBM, when you sell it, you're probably not going to sell it back to IBM. You're going to sell it to somebody else. So this is only what the stock was sold for by the company. If somebody who owns this stock sells it to someone else, the company's not going to get any of that money.
Oh, okay, I understand it.
Yeah. So when, you know, once you buy stock, if you buy stock in the company, you are an owner, but you can sell that generally to anyone, right? and the company probably doesn't want the stock back. You know, sometimes they do. It's called treasury stock, but for the most part, you're gonna be selling it to somebody else. And if you sell it to somebody else for $5,000, the company isn't going to see any of that. You are, right? You know, you paid $2,000 for the stock, and that's it. The company's not going to get any more out of it.
Thank you.
Also, when we're issuing common stock for cash, you're buying the stock and it has cash value.
Yeah. Now, issue is a kind of tricky word. Issue is another word for that is sold. You know, so they use the issue is what they'll say, but really what they're talking about is they're selling the stock. They sold it to somebody. So they say we have some ownership in the company. We'll sell the ownership to you for a certain price. So you're actually, you know, selling ownership of the place to somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Any other questions? Yeah, this will be.
That's it. That's it. All right, thank you. Well, can you go through 9 and 10?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry about it. Let's see. There's 9.
All right. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you. See you, what, Tuesday?
Yes. Yep. See you on
Okay,
Tuesday.
thank you.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Professor, thank you.